Hi everyone, welcome back. We're just going to finish off questions 2, 3 and 4 of the public goods questions. So these are the ones that we had started a moment ago going through question 1. If you've missed that video, you're welcome to go back and have a look. So we're going to go through questions 2, 3 and 4 starting with question 2. Now the question asks, is a sailboat purchased at Port Adelaide a private good or a public good? And obviously you're going to need to work out how to categorize a good, although this is a fairly straightforward question. If you have a look at your lecture slides for week 12, week 10 has the various characterizations, but I realize that they're on their side and it's not really that easy to read and work out what's going on. So I've rotated it for you. So this is exactly the same thing, just rotated. And as you'll remember, there's two characteristics of a good. The first is whether it's excludable or non-excludable. In other words, can you prevent another person from using it? If you can, it's excludable. You can exclude them from using it. If you can't, it's not excludable. Okay, so that's the first characteristic. The second characteristic is whether the good is rivalrous or non-rivalrous. In other words, whether more for you means less for other people. Okay, so if more for you does mean less for other people, then it is a rival good. If more for you doesn't mean less for other people, then it's not a rival good. And so depending on the characterization of these two categories, whether it's excludable or non-excludable, and whether it's rivalrous or non-rivalrous, that's going to lead you to conclude what kind of good is it. So here we have a sailboat purchased at Port Adelaide. Well, first of all, is it excludable or not excludable? Well, if I buy a sailboat, can I stop you coming on my sailboat? Absolutely, right? Assuming you don't come with all your friends and maybe a couple of weapons, I can prevent you from coming onto my sailboat if I don't want you on my sailboat, right? So it is excludable. I can exclude other people if I've bought the sailboat. The second part is it rivalrous or non-rivalrous? In other words, if I have the sailboat, does that mean that you wouldn't have the sailboat as well? And the answer to that is also yes. Yes, if the sailboat is mine, then it's not yours at the same time, right? You don't have a sailboat if I've got the sailboat. So it is a rival good. The opposite of this might be something like a radio signal, where if I'm listening to the radio, well, you can listen to the radio too. Doesn't mean less radio for you, right? So we know that it's excludable and we know that it's a rival good. So because it's both excludable and rival, that means that the good is a private good rather than a public good. And obviously, a sailboat is a private good. It belongs to somebody rather than being a public good. But depending on how you classify whether the good is excludable or non-excludable, and whether it's rivalrous or non-rivalrous, depending on how you determine those characteristics, allows you to determine what kind of good it is, just with those combinations. Okay, so that's question 2. It is a private good. Question 3, what is the free rider problem? What results from the free rider problem? What is the solution to the free rider problem? Well, the answer to this is also from your lecture slides. If you have a look at slide 19, I see it's not looking too good at the moment. I'll see if I can make it a little bit bigger. Maybe that's a little bit too big. Okay, so we've got free riding, as it says, is the action of enjoying a good without paying for it, so caused by the non-excludable nature of public good, and it results in under-provision. Well, what does that mean? Well, what we're saying is, if some people are providing the good, then, and it's not possible to exclude you from using it, then you can enjoy the good without having to pay for it. And if people can enjoy the good without having to pay for it, they won't pay for it, maybe. They'll pay less, and so there won't be as much of the good purchased as would be beneficial for society. So, as the answers for this week says, the free rider problem comes when people enjoy the benefits of a good or service without paying for it because it's not excludable. And so, as a result, the private market will produce too little of these goods. So what is a possible solution to the free rider problem? Well, one solution might be that the government can tax people, so the government can collect money from everybody who would enjoy the good, and then use that money to pay for the public good. So that's a possible solution, and it's the answer to question 3. But let's go on finally to question 4. Let's go on finally to question 4. So we've got the table above showing the marginal benefit from providing police protection in a community of just 2 people, Alistair and Hannah, and police protection is a public good. And part A asks, what is the marginal social benefit to the community from the 4th police car on duty? My mouse is a little bit slow, but let's load it up. I've copied the table that we've got here, number of police cars, marginal benefit in dollars of Alistair and Hannah. And it says, what is the marginal social benefit to the community of the 4th police car on duty? Okay, so to start with, I'm just going to fill in this table. How do we work out the marginal social benefit? Well, it's going to be the sum of all of the marginal private benefits, right? So it's going to equal the sum of the marginal benefit for Hannah plus the marginal benefit for Alistair. My mouse is a little bit asleep at the moment. I think I'll just try that again. So we're going to do that again, equals the sum of, and hopefully my mouse will maybe have to replace the batteries. There we go. All right. So it's going to be the sum of Alistair's marginal benefit and Hannah's marginal benefit. It's going to be 65. And so for each unit, it's going to be the sum of Hannah's and Alistair's. The sum of Hannah's and Alistair's marginal benefit. That's how you get the marginal social benefit. So the answer to the question, what is the marginal social benefit to the community from the 4th police car on duty? Well, that's going to be $23. Looking at this, it's going to be the sum of Alistair's private benefit of $15 plus Hannah's marginal benefit of $8 is going to give you the marginal social benefit of $23. Part B is a different question, and it asks, if the marginal social cost of a police car on duty is $37, what is the efficient number of cars on duty? What is the efficient number of cars on duty? Well, the efficient number of cars on duty is going to be given by the quantity at which the marginal social cost equals the marginal social benefit, right? The marginal social cost equals the marginal social benefit. So you want those two to be equal. And if the marginal social cost of a police car on duty is $37, well, we're looking for where the marginal social benefit is going to be equal to that cost. Otherwise, why provide the police car, right? If the benefit is less than that amount, then you shouldn't provide that police car, that extra police car. And it looks like that's going to be a marginal social benefit of 37 occurs at 3 police cars, when Alistair's marginal benefit is $25, Hannah's marginal benefit is $12. Add them together, you get $37 as a marginal benefit. So the efficient number of cars on duty in that situation is going to be 3. So the last question asks, if the marginal cost of a police car on duty is $70, what is the efficient number of cars on duty? So rather than $37, we've got $70. Okay, well, you'll notice that actually, even at only 1 police car, the highest marginal benefit possible is going to be, for Alistair, it's going to be $45, and for Hannah, it's going to be $20. That's their marginal private benefit. Add it together, the maximum possible marginal social benefit of $65, that doesn't equal that cost of $70, right? They don't get as much benefit from the first police car as the cost of the first police car of $70. And if that's true, if the benefit is not equal to the cost, if it's less than the cost, then they're not going to have that first police car. The efficient number of cars on duty in this case, because the cost is $70 and the marginal social benefit is only $65, they won't have any cars. The efficient number of cars will be 0. Okay, thank you for your attention. I'll do one more on coast theory. I'll go back and over that tutorial because there are a few tutorial assignments that maybe missed the point a little bit, and I'd like to go over that with you. But thank you for your attention. Good luck in your exam, and you're welcome to watch the next video as well if you want a refresher on coast theory. Thank you.